types of SQL injection. There are multiple types of SQL injections which you should be aware of, because depending upon the target and the situation, you may have to switch between one type and another. There are two major categories of SQL injections. First one is in-band SQL injection and second is inferential SQL injection. In-band SQL injection occurs when you are able to get the response from the website. It can be some data or it can be some error. So think about a database. A database containing a lot of paintings. You're able to get those paintings depending upon your searches. You're searching for painting which has an ID of 1, which has an ID of 2, which has an ID of 3. Or you're searching that on the basis of price. Any painting which is costing less than $5,000. Any painting which is worth more than $20,000. Depending upon all of this, you'll be getting some data from the database. Those are data-based SQL injections. There you can use a technique called union-based SQL injection technique, where you will use the union command of SQL. I know it's being a little confusing. Don't worry, I'll be explaining what is union and how to do that in a whole separate lecture. But just understand, when you are able to get data from the application, you will most probably go with the union-based technique. The second one is error-based injection. In certain websites, you might have seen that when you do a search or you click on a button, it sometimes throws an error. That error is coming because there is some problem in the database. And when we are able to take advantage of the errors to inject our SQL, that is where we use the error-based injection techniques. Again, I'll have a separate lecture on this. So till now, you understood that there are two categories: in-band SQL injections and inferential SQL injections. In in-band, you have the database technique called union-based injection and the error-based technique called error-based injection. Now, coming on the inferential injection. In certain cases, you will not get the error, neither the data. There, you have to analyze the behavior of the application. Either you are logging in or you are not logging in. It's not throwing any error, that password is wrong, username is wrong. It's not giving you an error. It's just letting you log in or you're not able to log in. That's where you analyze the behavior. Am I able to log in? That is a true statement. Is it not allowing me to log in? That is a false statement. This true and false is called as Boolean injection technique. Similarly, you can observe the time taken by the server. When you request a page, it may take 5 seconds to open that whole page. In certain cases, it may take 20 seconds to open the same page. That is where you can analyze the time taken by the server to process some requests. And that is known as the time-based injection techniques. So as a recap, in inferential, we do not rely on data or errors rather than the behavior of the application. Either we will get true or false behavior, which will lead to the Boolean injection technique, or we'll get some time differentiations, which will lead to time-based injection techniques. Well, there even exists a third type of technique, which is called as out-of-band injections. The reason I'm not discussing this, and we will not even be covering this in the course, is that out-of-band is a very rare situation. It is not even applicable in every SQL product. For an example, this normally is found on databases which are from a brand called Oracle. There is a special package in that called UTL_HTTP, with which we can get the response in our Netcat listener. So you can set up a Netcat listener and you can get response of your queries in your listener. It's highly rare situation and it will not fit the scope of this course. That's the reason we will ignore out of the band. But in a nutshell, out of band SQL injections are the injections which do not occur on the application, rather in the background they occur somewhere else, like a Netcat listener being hosted by you. So these are the three categories of SQL injections, and we will be covering the first two in the following lectures in detail.